Mr. Speaker, every dollar this Prime Minister spends adds to the deficit and pushes the price of food higher for Canadian families. In fact, the Parliamentary Budget Officer revealed the deficit will be higher than he promised just 6 months ago. Runaway deficits drive up the price of everything we buy. It's a tax on working families. The Prime Minister said we could judge him by the prices at the grocery store. When will the Prime Minister finally admit that this is another broken promise?
Well done.
Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, from someone who has actually put together budgets in the private sector versus a Conservative leader who has never done it, I'm proud to stand with the government that's going to deliver a plan on November 4th to cut operational spending so we can invest more in our country, build our economy into the strongest economy in the G7. Mr. Speaker, that leader and that party opposite has fought against every affordable measure we have put forward. Shame on them, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Long Range Mountains.
Well, regardless of the career of that member, the harsh reality is Newfoundland and Labrador families are struggling just to eat. Nearly 40% of children live in food-insecure households, and single-parent families experience a 56% food insecurity rate. That's the highest in the country. That's thousands of kids and parents depending on food banks just to get by. Meanwhile, food prices continue to climb. Does the Prime Minister understand his broken promises and skyrocketing deficits are making food unaffordable for all families?
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries and Oceans.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleague in the opposition from Newfoundland and Labrador for the opportunity to celebrate a very successful fishery in Newfoundland and Labrador. Northern cod, increased quotas. I visited communities, spoke with harvesters, visited processors, spoke with plant workers. This is economic boost for rural Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'd like to invite the colleague from Long Range Mountains to work with this government to encourage young people to see the fisheries as a viable future. There is so much to celebrate.
The honourable member for Newmarket Aurora.
Mr. Speaker, I hear it every day. The calls, the emails, the letters. We cannot afford food. The Daily Bread Food Bank expects 4 million people to visit. 4 million people. That's a lot of Canadians in despair. And today, the Parliamentary Budget Officer confirmed that the deficit will be double of Justin Trudeau. That is the reckless spending that drives up inflation and increases the food of everything we buy. And the Prime Minister himself said that he would be judged by the price at the grocery store. Well, he has failed, completely and undeniably. When will this Liberal government stop emptying the wallets of Canadians to cover for their failures?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Sport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Studies show that school food programs improve student health and mental health. They also improve learning outcomes, better grades in science, math, and reading. Mr. Speaker, those healthy meals in schools can also save a family up to $200 a month. That's a real solution for affordability and for health for Canadians, Mr. Speaker. So why did the Conservatives, when they had the chance to vote for healthy school food, vote against it? And then why did the member from Calgary East just now talk down all those programs that are supporting tens of thousands of kids in Alberta and hundreds of thousands of kids right across Canada?
The honourable member for Lethbridge.
Mr. Speaker, after 10 years of this Liberal government, Canadians can't afford to feed themselves. Printing money has resulted in inflation tax, which has driven up the cost of food. The Liberals' industrial carbon tax has increased the cost of farming, which has driven up the cost of food. And food packaging tax installed by this Liberal government has also driven up the cost of food. Families are struggling, and the hardest hit among them are children. In Lethbridge, food bank use among kids is up 150% just in the last 4 years. 150%. Enough is enough. Will the Liberals support the Conservative motion to scrap the tax on food?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank the honourable member opposite for her question. It is clear that this government has consistently stood by and supported families. We know they need support, they have asked for it, and the results of the previous election show that the plan and the commitment to support families, in particular children as well, is a strong record here and a strong plan that we are delivering on. We have a national school food program. We have a national dental care program. We have a Canada Child Benefit. And I would encourage members to support us in making that national school food program permanent. Thank you.
Good. The honourable member for Lethbridge.
The member says that this Liberal government has stood by and supported families. Direct quote. I'd like her to tell that to Scott. Scott is in my riding. He has children and a wife. He works hard, but he finds it very difficult to make ends meet. We recently got off the phone, and he was telling me on that call that he's struggling to feed his family. And in fact, he and his wife are down to 1 meal a day in order to make sure that his kids get enough food and their bills can get paid. This is a hard-working family that isn't able to make it happen for them. They're struggling. What would this member have me tell Scott and his family?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Youth, Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have a number of supports for children, for families, including a national school food program, including a dental program, including the Canada Child Care Benefit. I would encourage the member to vote in favour and support these programs that do deliver meaningful supports to families across the country, not only in her riding, but in mine and in all of ours across the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Regina Louvain.
How do they not understand if they stopped taxing Canadians to death, you wouldn't need the program? After 10 years of the Liberal government's reckless spending, prices of groceries continue to rise. The PM said he'd be judged by the cost at the grocery store. While among Saskatchewan children, 35% live in food-insecure households. When will these Liberals scrap their industrial carbon tax, scrap their second carbon tax, scrap their food packaging taxes so Canadians can afford to feed their own kids?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Rural Development.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Merci, Mr. Le Président.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I want to point out from the Saskatchewan perspective, Mr. Speaker, people are celebrating the hundreds of thousands of homes we're building for families across the country. That celebrates Saskatchewan as well. And then we have the lunch program, as indicated, and all the supports for different types of family across this great country, Mr. Speaker. So again, Mr. Speaker, from the federal government perspective, we're going to be there for families, and that includes Saskatchewan.
Honourable member for Regina Louvain.
This Northern Saskatchewan MP has abandoned his constituents faster than any MP I've ever seen. He voted in favor of a gun buyback program so his people could not hunt on their own land, Mr. Speaker. So the fact that he got up and voted in favor of a gun buyback program, supports that program, and then the fact that there is 259% increase in food bank usage in Saskatchewan, despite them not having the ability to feed themselves, he wants to stand and take credit for Liberal programs. He should support Saskatchewan people and not his Liberal lapdogs.
The Honourable Secretary of State for the Honourable Secretary of State for combating crime.
Mr. Speaker, the member references the compensation program for firearms. Mr. Speaker, these firearms have been prohibited for the last several years. I want to thank the responsible gun owners that have stored these guns safely and now are waiting for a plan. And in this plan, they will be compensated for those firearms that are now prohibited, Mr. Speaker. I believe that this plan will get assault-style firearms out of our communities, which is essential and important. There is no place for these types of weapons in Canada.
The Honourable Member for Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Breaking news in a bombshell report from Canada's independent fiscal watchdog. The Liberal government deficits are exploding. This means even bigger pile of debt for Canadians and also means higher prices on everything. Grocery prices are already up 70% over target, but the Liberals' plan is just to add more fuel to the fire. Our debt is exploding, our economy is shrinking, and the government's cupboards are bare. Why is this Prime Minister going ahead with his crazy budget to double the deficit and send even more Canadians to food banks?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know where the Conservatives have been for the last 4 months, but we are laser focused on delivering affordability for Canadians. We've cut taxes for 22 million Canadians. We cut the GST for first-time homebuyers. Interest rates are down. And through Build Canada Homes, we're going to build homes at a scale not seen since the Second World War. It's time for the Conservatives to cut the rhetoric. Get on board. Join us.
The Honourable Member for Hamilton East, Stony Creek.
Every dollar that this Liberal Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of hard-working Canadians. And never have they spent so much to achieve so little. The Liberals lit a pile of money on fire to give us record food bank usages and grocery store prices that are 40% higher than before. The budget watchdog says that the Liberal deficits will now be twice the size of Justin Trudeau's. Will the Liberals change course and vote for our Conservative motion to stop the Liberal taxes on food?
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is building bridges internationally, and I have good news for Canadians. We just signed a generational trade agreement with Indonesia, the fourth largest country in the world, over 275 million potential consumers, the fastest growing middle class that's looking to buy Canadian products. Mr. Speaker, this is another concrete example of how our international efforts are opening new doors for Canadian workers and businesses in communities across Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Just a little reminder to members, un petit rappel, là, il faut pas...
A reminder, please do not bang on the desks because it can cause an acoustic shock accident for interpreters.